So this month, there's a lot of video games coming out. And I had gathered around 58 bucks. This is how much I can afford. And I wanted to buy one game, to play something, maybe stream it a little bit, do what normal people do. And initially I want to buy Metro Exodus. And the game was a little bit above my price range. Now, I could have waited until I got like another $1 in order to buy it, but I said, well, since there's the controversy with the Epic Games and all that, maybe I'll skip Metro. I'll buy Far Cry, the Angry Chica edition. So I purchased Far Cry, the Angry Chica edition, the one where the soy bomb dropped and turned everyone womanly and pink and beautiful. And I streamed it a little bit. I offered my criticism and I explained that I can't play that game, right? Like, the story was uninteresting. The AI was hit in the head. Like, I don't know how many whacks to the head the developers took into that AI in order to make it that retarded, but it was astonishing. I think a state of the art of how bad the AI was. So I got a refund, right? And then I'm like, okay, but I still want to play a game. And I tried buying Anthem. And the game is horrible. It's Destiny, yet again, like a Destiny clone. And it's like, look, I have money, gaming industry. Just please take them from me. Just take my money, make a game so you can take my hard-earned dollar. Why do you not want to take it? Why do they not want to take it? Is it because it's Romanian money? Is this it? Is it because it's dirty money? Like, just explain to me, why do you not want my money? Right now, obviously, I can't play anything this month. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait, I guess, until the game that I like is going to come out, which is Mortal Kombat. Now, I made a video before complaining about Mortal Kombat because the game has two things that I really loved since I was a kid, which is tits and violence. It's very easy to please me as a gamer, right? And this is the contract between myself and the game developer. The game developer makes a game that I like, and I give him my hard-earned cash, right? And then the game developer can put food on the table and possibly save some of that money to make a sequel. But apparently Mortal Kombat now removed the tits from it. They're gone. They're not there anymore. And I was really upset about it. I was a little bit disappointed, to say the least, in the decision that video game developers and the gatekeepers of the industry were cheering, right? And I thought, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the person that's the problem, But apparently there's a lot of other gamers that think the same way that I do, that do miss the titties at this point. And they started complaining, and they took it to the Twitter, and then they complained. And now the video game journalists are angry. They're angry because the plebs are making their voices heard. And they're starting to reach the ear of the developers, and they're trying to suppress the masses. They're like, shh, very interesting. So we're going to go through some of their complaints. And while we do this, I want people to keep in mind that I'm still going to buy Mortal Kombat, right? Because it's still got the violence that I like. However, with that said, I would pay 30 bucks at this point for any sexy character DLC that NetherRealm puts out. So NetherRealm, take my money. Please, just take my money. The wallet is open. All you need to do is to reach in and take my money. That's all. That is literally what you need. Just make a skin that has a nice titty and a nice ass, and I will pay for it. I will buy your extra $30 DLC. And I'm pretty sure that, like me, there are a lot of other gamers. So let's see, maybe NetherRealm is going to do it. I kind of doubt it, because at this point I noticed that video game developers don't make games for gamers. They make games for video game journalists, which is why I call them the gatekeepers of the industry. The game journalists decide what I get to buy. The game journalists are the ones that dictate what I, the consumer, am allowed to purchase or not. And the reason this is happening is because the game developers want that Metacritic high score. They want to get high on Metacritic. And because they want to get high on Metacritic, they constantly need to kiss ass to the game journalist that seems to want something completely different than what the customer wants. And because of that, the game industry as a whole is suffering. EA has lost a lot of stock. Ubisoft has lost a lot. Blizzard has lost a lot. I don't know how Mortal Kombat will do. I think they will still do fine because they still have like really solid gameplay and they got the violence still there. But other than that, it's like Mortal Kombat is going to do well despite the journalists. It's not because of the journalists, not because they have removed the titty. But anyway, let's look at this article, shall we? So Mortal Kombat released the new character of Jade. And this is how she used to look. And now she looks like this. And a lot of people point out, well, it's normal for her to look like this because she's an undead revenant, yada yada. The thing is, like, they did show her normal skin. Like, it's also going to have like a non-undead variant. And to me, it didn't look enticing at all, right? Like, the previous one was better. And it's not just me. There's a lot of people that are pointing this out, which is why a lot of journalists are bot blasted over Twitter, because the people, the ones that are actually spending the money, right? Because the journalists usually get the free review copy. They're not even purchasing the games. And they're really upset that people don't agree with them in this particular decisions. And you also get like sites bounding into comics which criticize NetherRealm for potentially heading down the same route that EA was taking during Battlefield 5 by trying to capture a diverse audience. But then they end up getting woke and going broke. Now, I have to mention the fighting game community is already incredibly diverse. Like, if you look at EVO, you will see people of different races that are playing the game. The only exception is that women don't really play fighting games, but maybe it's like because of the genre. Like, can that not be a thing? Like, for example, I don't know a lot of men that want to go and watch 50 Shades of Grey. Now, I'm pretty sure you could tinker with the story of 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight in order to make men like it more, but wouldn't that mean that women would like it less? Like, would that not mean that the original fan base might leave and you might not attract new people? It's just a question, but anyway. The site also pointed out how all the women in Mortal Kombat 11 have taken huge steps backwards from being anywhere near as attractive as they appeared in Mortal Kombat 9 or heck even Mortal Kombat X. And this is true, like first of all, the developer itself, like Ed Boon, after Mortal Kombat 9, which was a stunning success, by the way, he said that he wants to make the tits more realistic. And this came after video game journalists whined and complained that the game is too sexy and whatnot, in a franchise that, again, was renowned for having tits and violence. And you have Mortal Kombat X, which definitely toned down the sexiness of women. And then with Injustice, we noticed that one developer who was working on the project also told that he was asked to censor his art. Like, he was going to make Black Canary have bigger boobs, but he was told that no, Catwoman is the only female that's allowed to have bigger boobs. And, like this type of stupid, I don't know, like pointless, I guess, uglification of the character. I don't even know how else to put it. Right? It's like, let's just make this character unsexy. It's like, why? And this is a game where the men still remain sexy, because you can definitely see, like, for instance, in this article, it shows one of the males in Mortal Kombat, which is Gaddis. Where the heck is he? Oh, here we go, right? So Gaddis, as the writer of the article points out, he still looks like an Egyptian god. And almost all the male characters in the game look absolutely stunning. They're peak physique, they're really buffed, well made, sometimes even undressed. I'm pretty sure when we're going to see Kano, he's also going to look like really good especially for his age, Raiden doesn't look too bad. So the men look stunning, but the women, like, for example, this is Sonya, right? Like, they made her ugly on purpose. Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's the age time, like a lot of time has passed and she became older. Like, I'm fine with that, but I will still buy a $30 DLC that will get Sonya to look the way she used to look, And again, it's all the women. It's like, okay, so we got Sonya, we got Jade, and Scarlet, which used to look like this, right? Scarlet used to look like this. She now has a hijab on, right? And I bet she's not going to have like the original costume. Again, I will pay $30. Netherrealm, take my money. Just take my money, Netherrealm. All you have to do is reach out and take it. You know, if you make Jade look like this, $30, Netherrealm. Just take my money. They don't want to take my money. They want to please the game journalists. That's fine. You know, I'll just pay normal price. So now you have like the journalists complaining, right? They're pointing out that Jade is undead, but whatever you're into, mate. And again, like the people from this website, One Angry Gamer, is showing that, look, there's plenty of undead characters that look sexy. But this is not the point. Like, I have seen her original costume, right? It's not appealing. I'll just give you that. It's very plain, very boring. Then you get Alex Dondalson. Love this. Being furious, a corpse isn't sexy. Video games. Right. It's not a corpse. It's a fictional character, right? It's a video game character, and it has another skin, which has her when she was still alive. And all the journalists, like, they're completely missing the point. You know, they're pretending it's just about Jade when they clearly know what's going on. Like, they did this. They did this. Why play Mortal Kombat for the sex appeal when games like Dead or Alive have better physics? This is a senseless argument that misses the fundamental reason why Mortal Kombat is appealing. All right, so now I have to explain to this cock, you know, I have to explain to this soy boy why I want to spend my money for something that I personally like. It's like, listen, Jeremy, none of your fucking business what I want, all right? I got $30. All NetherRealm has to do is to deliver me some titties. Alright? You don't have to purchase that DLC costume. Both of us can be made happy. You know? I can get the costume I like, and you can play with the old hag here if you so desire. And we're both happy. But this is not about choice. This is not about the consumer having the right to choose. No. This is about enforcing an ideology. And we know why this ideology exists. This ideology exists in order to, I guess, push the message that all men are potential rapists, and if men would constantly be exposed to imagery like this, from down here, they will probably end up raping a woman, right? This is not even something that I'm making up. This is legitimately what intersectionality believes. Now, let's see what else we get. We get outing yourself as a necrophiliac to own the libs. Again, the character has a skin when she is alive, right? And not to mention, like, vampires are something that's pretty sexy amongst the female population with the release of Twilight. I haven't seen journalists shaming women for liking Twilight and being like, oh my god, you're a necrophiliac or whatever, you know? Andy, why the fuck doesn't this reanimated corp has big bouncy titties? How will I get aroused now? Again, none of your business what people do with their money. You know, like if someone wants to pay money to play Blood Rain and they find Blood Rain to be sexy, that's their business, not yours. Insomniac Games senior quality assurance tester couldn't help but also hop into the express disappointment with people liking a little bit of fan service out of Mortal Kombat, which has been known for its copious amounts of skin being displayed for more than 20 years. Jesus, I thought this was a parody or satire for a minute. He legit makes the point that female characters should be sex object for fan service fanboys. Holy shit. Yeah, this is literally what the market demands. Like, people with money, they're flaunting money at you. They're flaunting money and they're saying, can you please draw something that we like and we will pay you for it. And you're like, holy shit. Yeah, people don't want to be educated. People don't really care about your ideology. People want to be entertained. And apparently, seeing some boobies entertains them. But I want to show you why developers don't want to show boobies, right? Because Dead or Alive is a game that's actually about fan service. And they hired these two ladies at Evo in order to display the jiggle physics, right? And explain how the jiggle physics are made. And they're showing it, you know, like this is just a normal promo. And as they're showing it, you will notice that the stream suddenly gets cut off. Now, the reason the stream gets cut off is because the actual people at Evo decided that this is too much. You know, this is not family friendly. And apparently this had to be shut down. And they even apologized. Like, they actually went there and apologized for these disturbing images. Now, I see things that are worse in a nightclub, by the way, when I go out with my friends. Like, this is just incredibly tame. Like, you would have to be the most puritanical virgin possible in order to get offended at a couple of women bouncing boobies. This is just, insane. But you know what? That Mortal Kombat is actually on display on Evo, right? And Mortal Kombat is a very violent game. Thankfully, like I will still purchase it as it remains valid. But we have to understand that all of these things from the top, they're not okay, right? Like, this is disrespecting women. This is, as the soy boy put it, holy shit, right? It's not okay. If I want to purchase because of this, I'm somehow a bad person, right? But the thing down below, this is perfectly okay. Like, this is in the game, by the way. Right? This is in the game, and it's fine. Like, when you play the game, you don't notice because most of the violence is over the top, and it's actually so over the top that it's completely ridiculous, right? But this is fine. So you have an ideology that tells you that this is not okay, right? But this is perfectly acceptable. Like, this is family friendly. You can show this on Twitch, okay? You can show this on Twitch, absolutely no problem. Which is why I think that these people are absolutely, positively, mentally insane. Like, they have gone way off the reservation, and unfortunately, they're the gatekeepers of the industry. They are the people that get to decide what you can purchase with your money versus what you are not allowed to purchase with your own hard-earned cash. What would you do without them? What would you do if they don't police the industry and make sure that everything you get to buy is approved by them, of course? Ellen Ross from the UK-based outlet Outside Box wasn't above chiming in, mocking the idea that men still find shapely women attractive by using age-old Futurama memes. Here's the thing, right? You can make the argument that only men like this. But if you go to a cosplay convention, or you look at some of the more prominent female cosplayers in the community, why is it that they all choose to dress up as skimpily clad women? Because you can find this like at different costume conventions. I bet Ed Boon or these soy boy journalists, they look at these women and the first thing they want to do is to nerf their tits, right? But you can't do that. You can't tell a woman to cover herself up in real life because that would be slut shaming. But what you can do is if a woman doodles a sexy character, you can actually tell her that what she's doing is misogynistic. Again, like, I really, really hate this ideology. I definitely do. And they wonder why. Because it makes no logical sense. It's not a coherent ideology in any way, shape, or form. It's not up for debate. Like, these people aren't even debating, right? Like, they're not even trying to explain why it's bad to see naked women in the game. They're just mocking the people that are asking to purchase something with their own money. And again, like, this could, like, if the company would want to, they could please both people, You could have, like, a puritanical skin for these gentlemen, and you can have, like, another skin for people like myself to buy. And that would please everyone except the video game journalists. Like, they would still be livid. It's like, how is this skin in the game? Should I remind people that League of Legends has to apologize every time they release a sexy character? Like, this is not even funny. When they did the remake of their Succubus character, which her whole shtick is that she's like this evil demon lady which likes to allure men, to seduce men, and then butcher them grotesquely. Is it grotesquely? Is it a word, right? This is what she wants to do. And, obviously they have to make her sexy because that's her whole shtick. That's her entire persona. They had to apologize to the social justice activists. And this is another thing that really pisses me off. Again, about the gatekeepers of industry, which is why I call them as such. Whenever people complain, like, you can have tens of thousands of fans complaining and nothing will change. But the moment you have a couple of activists complaining, immediately things change, and the developers even apologize. Take, for example, Assassin's Creed, right? In Assassin's Creed, you had that DLC, which apparently tried to maintain the consistency of the story. And the consistency of the story is that you're using an animus, which is a machine, in order to see through the eyes of your of the people that came before you, of your ancestors, right? So you're seeing through the eyes of your ancestors. Well, in order for that to work, it means all of your ancestors needed to have kids so that you are born, right? Now, in the DLC, the game made it canon so that the character is straight. The character that you're playing is straight so that it could have a baby and so that you're born. And because of that, it ignored the choices that people made in order to have gay relationships in ancient Greece. And it was like some activist group complained, and within like a couple of days, within like 2 or 3 days, the developers changed it. Yeah. But when you get like people complaining about Battlefield 5 and you get like huge controversies, they don't apologize ever. They never change anything. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating at the enormous amount of power these check marks have. Anyway. Man unable to find a beautiful woman sexy unless she's 80% naked. None of your business what I find or what I don't find sexy. Why do I have to explain these soy boys? Like, you know, like, again, I remember when BuzzFeed had a couple of reporters do a blood work. This was a thing. And amongst the things that they checked for was the T levels. They checked the testosterone. And it was funny that only one of them, like, barely had normal testosterone levels. Right? Just barely. Just like slightly above the average. Okay? All the others were below. Like, all the others should go see a doctor right away. They might not be able to have kids, which might be a good thing. I don't know. But the thing is, I don't want to take advice about male sexuality from these people. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's okay. I'm not going to be lectured by what I should find sexy or I shouldn't find sexy by Mr. Big Gooberfish. I hear people claim this Dead or Alive 6 issue, but it really isn't. Jade is looking good, so I really don't see the issue here. She's looking more fine than me, and I'm alive. Costumes are the only thing that make women feminine and sexy. Right? Tell that to the fashion industry lady. You know, if that was a thing, if you legitimately had the point that costumes don't make women look sexy, you wouldn't find women really agitated a day before a wedding. Like, they don't know what dress to buy and stuff like that. You know, you wouldn't see women going from shop to shop, trying out different outfits. And when they get out of the shopping booth, they would turn around to look how the dress covers their ass and if that type of thing, you know. But, you know, the heck do I know, I suppose. What do we in the fashion industry know about it, huh? Creative regression. There's nothing less creative than putting a woman in a skimpy clothing and letting her tits be the focal point. So, yeah, I mean, they constantly point out that, oh, you shouldn't have a woman naked, meh. But you can see they're hypocrites. And they really don't care about this, because when they do it to the men, for them it's perfectly normal. And again, like, we're talking about a game that's incredibly violent towards women. Like, you can decapitate women in this game and they're not worried about it at all. Like, that's perfectly fine, you know. But if you have the goal to show a titty because this is what the people paying you money want, you know, this is what the people with money in their hands demand, then that's too much. No, that is not allowed. And not only that, you know, like, this is what I love. Not only are these gatekeepers telling you that you shouldn't buy this, they're also telling you that you shouldn't complain, that you shouldn't ask what you would want to purchase. And this is why I decided to make this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Boy, I shat out a lot of videos today now, haven't I? I really should go to bed. Can't sleep though. You know, like, maybe I can stay awake until 9 p.m. and then I'll have like normal sleeping schedules. I'll probably try doing that. So I'll see you guys later.